Let's begin today's Vanguard news with the Master Deck sets, or DZSS 09 and 10 being predictable, as it comes with a storage box and sleeves to quote-unquote justify its price tag. Besides actual new players, these are just a waste of space and money, as veteran players would already have other sleeves or storage boxes in mind. Speaking of predictable, both Master Deck sets are filled with nothing but reprints of their own cards, and the triggers are all vanilla outside of the over trigger. Unless you really wanted to play Liael or Draduel at their prime without having to hunt down their cards as a reprint set, these are terrible for veteran players, as there's no value for these outside of the Elementaria Sanctitude, the Energy Generator, and the exclusive Regalis piece each deck will be getting. And say what you will about the Stride deck sets, they at least reintroduce an old mechanic back into the game despite the flack it gets as a nostalgia bait. If anything, wanting to play Liael and Draduel like it's late 2023 is ironically more nostalgia baiting, as they have nothing new to offer. With the pointless deck set out of the way, it's time for everyone's favorite girl chronicle to get new support in DZBT07 before it gets upstaged by her future self that hopefully gets a new form it desperately needs. Century's permanent Dear Vogel, while on rearguard or the Guardian Circle, gets 5k power and shields for every 3 of your regress gauges. So it's basically a turn 3 card in a deck that can barely make its shit work by turn 4. Huge pass. Steam Maiden Zimri, while on rearguard, gets 5k power during the battle she boosted, while you have a grade 3 or higher Liael Vanguard. And while on rearguard, she gets 2k power when she boosts a grade 3 or higher Liael Vanguard. Then you can retire herself at the end of that battle to either counter charge 1 or energy charge 3. Liael Odium finally got her 13k booster, and not only is she extra thick, she's only a rare and gets you back either counter blast or energy. Probably one of the best divine skill boosters so far. Direful Dull Patience, when placed on rearguard, lets you pay 2 energy if you have a grade 3 or higher Liael Vanguard to add up to 1 grade 3 normal order card that isn't a Regalis piece from either your drop zone or face up damage. Then put the top card of your deck into your damage zone if you added a card from your damage zone with this ability. And while on rearguard during your turn, she gets 5k power if you have 2 or more regress gauges. A Direful Dull player suddenly woke up from a dream thinking they got new support. This has potential, as it's not locked to just getting Distorted Bane. This card becomes amazing once Dark States gets a generic grade 3 normal order that could be considered a staple in the future, like Cage of Furious Star. Finally, Instant Asunder Colossus, while in your gauge zone, lets you pay 1 counter blast at the beginning of your battle phase to put a card from your drop zone into your gauge zone. Then call itself to rearguard if you put a card with this ability. And while on rearguard, while you have a grade 3 or higher Liael Vanguard, it gets 5k power and an auto ability that lets you pay 2 soul blast when it attacks to draw a card. The fact that you can put another copy of itself into your gauge zone is going to cause a lot of ruling issues when it comes to timing. And to make sure no other deck tries to use its draw ability, not only is it locked behind requiring a Liael Vanguard, it also happens to be a red text for no apparent reason other than to discourage players in trying to run regress gauges in other decks. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you're still getting the Master Deck set even without knowing its Regalis piece.